In the isolated outskirts of a forgotten town stood a mansion, once grand, now decayed and forsaken. The wind whispered through the overgrown gardens, and the moonlight struggled to penetrate the gnarled branches of ancient trees. This was Joshua's home, though home had long ceased to describe the dilapidated edifice echoing with the silence of the dead. Joshua, an elderly man, wandered through the shadowed halls, his cane tapping against the cold, cracked marble floors. A perpetual twilight seemed to envelop the mansion, the walls adorned with tattered tapestries that once depicted vibrant scenes now reduced to ghostly reminiscences. Cobwebs clung to every corner, and the air was thick with the scent of mildew and abandonment. Joshua's memories floated to the surface as he moved, snatches of laughter, flickering candlelight, and the warmth that once filled the mansion. Yet these recollections were tinged with sorrow, as if reminding him of a time irretrievably lost. His thoughts were his only companions in this spectral abode. One night, as the wind howled outside and the moon cast an eerie glow through the shattered windows, Joshua was drawn to a room he had scarcely visited. The door creaked open, revealing a grand library filled with dust-laden tomes and a fireplace long cold. His eyes fell upon a portrait above the mantel, a younger version of himself, standing beside a woman whose face was obscured by shadows in his memory. Joshua's heart ached with a yearning he could not place. He approached the portrait, feeling an inexplicable pull toward it. His reflection in the dusty mirror beneath it caught him off guard. His eyes, sunken and hollow, seemed to pierce through time itself. A voice, a whisper, barely audible, seeped through the silence. "Joshua, do you remember?" it seemed to ask. And then, as if a veil had been lifted, the realization dawned upon him with a chill that froze his very soul. He was no longer alive. He had been dead for years, wandering the mansion in a state of unawareness, trapped in a limbo of his own making. The memories, the feelings, these were not of the present, but echoes of a lifelong past. His thoughts and his actions were mere remnants of a soul unwilling to move on. The mansion, once a symbol of grandeur, had become his tomb, a decaying monument to his denial. The overgrown gardens and the twisted, gnarled trees were not just the signs of neglect, but the manifestations of his inability to accept his fate. He had been living in the silence of the dead, a ghost unaware of his demise. Joshua's soul trembled as the truth settled in. The mansion seemed to sigh, as if acknowledging his epiphany. And with that, the wind's whispers turned into a mournful lullaby, guiding him toward acceptance, urging him to find peace. In the dim light of the decaying mansion, Joshua took one last look at the portrait, the image of his former self frozen in time. He closed his eyes and allowed himself to rest for the first time in years. Now silent and still, the mansion stood as a testament to a soul finally at peace, ready to move beyond the shadows and into the light.